If you guys have clicked on this video because you have a trouble code P0171 and fixing vacuum leaks is not solving the problem, I may have a solution for you. Stick around. I just pulled the fuel pump on my 2004 GMC Envoy again because of a P0171 trouble code, which means your engine is running too lean. Now, after troubleshooting a couple different things, such as a clogged fuel filter and vacuum leaks, I believe the issue is related to this fuel pump. Hey folks, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the gift that keeps on giving, my 2004 GMC Envoy. Today we're putting the gas tank back in because for a second time in about 3 months I had to drop the gas tank because I suspected my P0171 trouble code was caused by not vacuum leaks, but either a clogged fuel filter, which we already checked, changed, put on a new fuel filter. That didn't change the pressure of the fuel. So now I dug into the fuel tank, I pulled out the fuel pump, and I found that when I pulled the fuel pump out, it appeared that the fuel pump had separated and the tube from the fuel pump itself was not fully seated with the top piece of the pump. And because of that, I believe the fuel pump was sucking in some air, causing the low fuel pressure, which then in turn caused the trouble code, which of course means engine too lean. So if we come under the car here, I've got the fuel tank already in place, ready to lift back up, and hopefully that fuel pump will not come apart again. And once I get everything buttoned up, we will double check the fuel pressure to make sure that is up near its operating pressure of between about 50 to 55 psi. Check engine light is still on, so before we go out on the test drive, I'm going to go ahead and clear this code. And all I'm using here is a OBD2 Bluetooth scan tool. I'll have a link to this one down in the description below. Relatively inexpensive. You can get them on Amazon. You know, very handy for me that I have found over the years, because in addition to reading fault codes, it also gives you some real-time data. And for this particular check engine code, what I'm interested in looking at is my long-term and short-term fuel trims. Now, I'm not going to pretend to know everything about these different trim levels, but from the research that I've done, your long-term and short-term, after driving for some period of time, should start to fall close to zero. And what I found prior to fixing the pump, you know, the short-term fuel trim was up around 15 to 20%, and as we'll see here in just a minute, after we fix the pump, the fuel trim on the short term is now reading in the negative, you know, 0 or below, which from what I understand is where it should be. So with that, let's go ahead and get back out on the road, go ahead and get our test drive going and see if that check engine light stays off. Here we are just a couple miles further down the road, and as you can see, my check engine light is still off, and that short-term fuel trim is close to 0 and in the negative in some instances. Now it's going to fluctuate, bounce around, but from what I understand, where you want that to be is near 0 or below 0. So as of right now, everything is looking good in terms of the trim levels on the fuel. When we get back, we'll plug up that fuel pressure gauge once more just to check the pressures to confirm that we're still within spec. So as you can see, my fuel pressure is still holding steady at about 50 pounds, which is within spec. So for now, I'm going to call that a successful repair. So if you guys are trying to track down and troubleshoot a P0171 trouble code, I hope this video has been helpful to you. Again, in my instance, it actually was not a vacuum leak that appeared to be the root cause, but rather a faulty fuel pump. And again, my fuel filter was a little bit clogged up, so I did replace that, and I'm sure that's going to help out with that fuel delivery to the engine. So as always, guys, thank you for tuning into the channel. I hope this video has been helpful to you. If you haven't done so already, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I'd love to have you join the channel. That's going to do it for this one. As always, I look forward to seeing you on the next one.